mimic the speed of Tai Chi and Qi Gong, mimic that speed and add your mindfulness practice, right? So practice the basics. Like for me, this has feel. Like I can feel my fingertips. I can feel a little throb. Okay. Now, I didn't used to always feel this way. So to tame your mind, to come into one of your senses, because you know your senses are always taking place in the present moment, to tame your mind, go to something you're more familiar with, or what we do every morning. Notice light and shadow. Notice what you hear in left or right ear. Notice light and shadow with sun, sound. What's the furthest thing away you hear? What's the closest thing you hear? Temperature. Like for me, I can literally be outside and I can be more in the sun here. I can feel the heat of the sun. I can feel that. And I can also put my hand in shadow and I can feel the difference. Now you have to become present to feel the difference, but it's just becoming present. You've got all the systems. They can do that. It's just typically your systems are overwhelmed with a bunch of other layers. And so because there's so many layers and because you're really kind of dialed in over extended moments, you're just missing it, which is neither good nor bad. It's just something to account for. So after you've tamed your mind, come into the body. So when you're moving around or when you're standing up, just pick your ground. You know, if you're standing up, the ground is obviously what's beneath you. The difference between being on a patch of moss and a patch of gravel is significant, right? So you notice that. Then you build your body or your spine, pelvis. This is the pelvis region right here. Core region. You're building your spine. Chest space, chest region. Okay, you're building up into here. Throat space. Okay, this is the throat space. It's here. It's three-dimensional. So, I mean, you're watching me two-dimensionally, but for you, it's three-dimensional. It's all the way around. So when you pay attention to your throat, it's all the way around and through and inside. Top of the head. Top of the head's the top of the spine, right? You see my spine? Top of the head's top of the spine. Then add breath. Set an intention. That's essentially bell 4. Okay, setting an intention. And the intention is to mimic the speed of Qi Gong at any given time. You can feet, pelvis, core, heart, throat, top of breathing. What you'll flow in and out of are these kind of, in the mindfulness or meditative world, it's called a deeper dive. So it's like you skip off the surface for a while, skip off the surface deep dive, skip off the surface. Practice continues. It's get down, presence, deeper presence. Think of all the layers that your mind can build into the past and the future. That's how many layers your mind can build into the present. You're noticing more, you're curious. Your central nervous system is softening. All of the parts of your body are softening. More fluid, flowy. There's less information of disruption and more information of flow. So you're informed by a lot of information and flow. It's just it's not a planned event. It's a participatory outcome. And this speed can be matched to your breathing. However you want. Just remember, have a beginning, have a middle, and have an end. The goal of the training is to create choice. Like you're choosing to do what you do, as opposed to being kind of triggered or tricked or manipulated or stuck in doing what you do. It's choice, right? It's the whole goal. So when you finish, choose to finish with the best version of yourself. Gratitude, compassion. Like in the context of the greater good, gratitude and compassion. I think those are really appropriate. So like, you don't have to do this out loud, but for the sake of your awareness or understanding, gratitude is, I really appreciate where I am. I really appreciate my neighbors, my community, the roads. I really appreciate the electricity, the cell service. I just really appreciate all the things that go into making that real. Like there's a lot of things that make that real. And when that's when all those things aren't in order and we don't have this, it's different. So it's worthy of gratitude. And the next is compassion. Compassion is acknowledging suffering, acknowledging that you can connect with someone in their suffering and offer them your goodwill. So this isn't special to me. I'm not making this up. I'm just passing this information on. All kinds of names for what I'm describing, in particular techniques for doing these exact things in every context. So what I am offering you is that the science behind it, the understanding behind it, is that it's rock solid. So it's very strategic. It's not just a kind of a spiritual kind of thing. It's a strategic kind of thing to bring compassion and gratitude into your heart, especially in the context of the great whole. So it's acknowledging suffering, acknowledging all the suffering out there. I think today people lose the $600 a week payment, and that's got to just be devastating. Like the thought of losing that and knowing you can't count on that and counting on that and now you can't, it's got to be rough on a fair number of people. So I acknowledge that, and I hope that in the time you had the chance, or that you did, build into your community, and I hope your community and you are in kind of flow, and that you guys can rely on each other. So I hope there's some way forward for you. And everyone else, So that's the idea, right? So you just blend the speed of Tai Chi with your mindfulness practice. It's mindful movement. Have a start, tame the mind, have a practice, finish. Be intentional about finishing. And that's something I'm not doing. I'm just finishing after the 4th bell in the morning. I feel like I should be more intentional about the endings in the morning. Anyway. Hmm. Anybody say hi?